there was something not right with this story. And the whole manipulation of the fear, of the anger, and creating loosh for months and months and months, like, oh, they're about to die. Oh, no, they're okay. Like that whole like ring and roll was very frustrating to both you and I, and also to the audience members. Now, we have supposedly here in the last couple of days a final destination for these ostriches, and we're being treated to a lot of emotionally charged videos by a lot of truthers with respect to this announcement that we were told that, you know, the massacre finally happened. Now, we were reluctant to have to go back and look at this. First of all, before we get into it, I feel personally, and this is you, Janine, you can say you're part of Janine here too, there's so many things wrong. If indeed they went in and called this herd, the whole process of that is just like mind-bogglingly, spectacularly wrong in many cases, including health and safety for the individuals doing the culling, when in fact the whole reason for culling was from a health and safety perspective. I'll stop there for just a moment. That being said, you are finding yourself at odds with the cards over the last number of months, with the news here that is being presented to us as reality over the last couple of days. Now, I was reluctant to even bring it up on the last show. We didn't do a Wacky Woo Sunday night, but we have tons of emails, again, asking us to revisit this. Some email are nice and just genuinely wanting to know, hey, perhaps what happened? Perhaps did the cards make a mistake? Did Janine make a mistake in interpreting it? But some are, shall I say, not so pleasant. And so I want to start the episode with that here tonight, Janine. We're going to make this as a standalone clip, and we'll also share this on Rumble for the public at large. But please just share with the audience members what you've been dealing with here in the last 2 days in terms of emails. Let's start there.
Well, yeah. The emails, so concerned people leading up to and wanting me to look at it constantly. So I did look at it in a big way. You know, I call it big just because it was a big show. It's my quick pick Thursday. And the nasty emails refer to what I got there, which was I got exactly what you said. So PSYOP from every angle. Not true. Like what I wished I would have asked things differently in a different way, but I asked what happened to these animals, or what's going to happen, and it was days before or a day before or something like that. They were set to get killed. Okay, so we're right up against it, and I asked what's going to happen, and I basically got it's all going to be the same thing, going back and forth. And then I got the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is they're getting flown to the US, or that's what I got as. So I think I said, I don't remember exactly, but I think I said they're getting flown to the US, or someone's going to swoop in and fly these guys out of there. Okay. So what I think happened there was the cards were getting exactly what likely did happen. They got flown out of there. Okay, but it didn't tell me what I didn't get there. I never saw any cards where the tower, I guess the cards were already done telling me it was a fake story. Because that happens when you read something over and over. And when we got this audience I must have been asked hundreds of times to read on them, and I read on them about 10 times.
Yeah.
And tarot, like our readers will tell you, your cards start to get fed up with you. It's like the higher universe is fed up with, why do you need to ask this question so many times? I already told you. It always said, it's a psyop. They're going to yo-yo you. Watch out. You're just getting used for loosh. And the reason behind the psyop, so this part people maybe need to know. It's obvious. They did this with George Floyd. They did this with, so many things.
Do you, first of all, hold on. You didn't answer my question with respect. I'm asking you about these nasty emails you're getting. And you just mentioned George Floyd. You got a lot of shit for that at the beginning too, right? And so now there's people emotionally charged with this story. And I get it. It's emotionally charging story. And it's it's very difficult to get through. And some people are more akin to protecting animals than other people, and it gets them at a core level. Just like for some people, if you talk about kids being hurt, they just go ballistic. Right? So I get the emotions.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, at this point, what do you feel, Janine, about having to read on this again? Because let's just say it out loud right now. So the emails you're getting is like, Janine, you are so wrong. You've been telling us for months that they would bring it to the brink and then push it back, bring it to the brink and then push it back. Which is exactly what happened, by the way. If you roll the tape, we kept having, it's this weekend is the call. They're circling the herd, like all these things. And then they would push back, more injunctions, all this stuff. So far on that, you were right. But here, the last read that you had, which again was not a thorough read, is one read in a 2-minute segment, without anybody asking you specific questions to dive in, your cards were telling you that they were going to get flown out. This is the last read you have. And now the mainstream news is telling us the absolute opposite. We're getting all of these reports, these videos, including these aerial shots here of supposedly the ostrich farm being called.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now with this stuff? Before we even pull, and again, there's a reason we're looking at this story again here today. What do you feel is important for the audience to know? How do you feel right now? And where do you want to go with this read tonight? And I'll help you to the extent that I can, ask you all of the questions so that we drill down here to get the best possible answer throughout this whole PSYOP operation here. Go ahead.
Well, I feel I'm slightly frustrated because I feel like cards are talking about what actually is happening. And there's a lot of PSYOPs going on. So it gets very frustrating as a reader because I'm reading that's not happening. But then it looks like it is. Okay, so we're watching theater, and I'm frustrated that so many people don't get it yet. But the thing is, that video wasn't just shown to our usual audience who are very well educated in these things. Okay, that video was this is probably why the nasty emails. That video was shown on Rumble, so a lot more people viewed it that normally would if it was just on my channel or just on the Beyond the News on the IAP. So I'm thinking maybe that's part of it. So now it goes out in the greater world there. And there's a lot of people that have no idea they're being used for loosh. So it's very frustrating to see that, wow, there's still so many people completely falling for this. So they're just letting themselves get anything that washes you with that much emotion and keeps you on the edge of your seat and then shows you a picture like this, as if they'd even like they would never let people see that. Apparently it got done at night. In what universe would this group, officialdom group, go in there at night in the middle of the night and do that and then start shooting instead of like using something else? Like that, everything about it is so obvious. Like what? Yeah. And they would have covered them up if that was the case. They would have worn full hazards just because all that blood splattering around. Okay, maybe they'll even get splattered. Are you kidding me? Supposedly these are sick birds. Like there's so many things wrong with the story. So it gets so frustrating that there's that many people that are so dense out there that are going to be you. It just shows you that this has to be done. Things have to be done this way because we got to educate people to get a little smarter about what news is fake news. And this had it all over from the get-go, fake news. It was going to pull at your heartstrings for the ostriches. It's like,
now, before we pull again on this in different angles here tonight, as a responsible interviewer, I have to ask you all the question.
Okay.
Is it possible you've been wrong for the last 6 months pulling this on this story?
Well, I don't think so because being a reader for 35 years as a career, I watched things like this. And if you read on it once, okay, and then maybe the third, say you get it around to a third time, and then it starts looking different. But this was consistent right from the get-go. Yeah. That this was a big loosh collector. And there's a reason for it. I mean, the reason is they're trying to point out, I feel like this is a white hat op. Mm-hmm. They're trying to point out, the overreach of government agencies or agencies given power by governments, the overreach of like who's not your buddies, RCMP, like who looks bad in it, the RCMP and that group. Okay, that group they keep talking about, the C something or other,
Right.
a group that goes around culling people's animals. And obviously this story points out that they are likely wrong a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
Or they're trying to create fear for another disease, right? This bird flu, which actually makes no sense that they'd go after these ostriches. Then there was that other gem of a sort of sideline story where their eggs could in fact, so they hit a couple of birds, excuse the pun, with a stone, you know what I mean? They hit it lots of marks, because now these guys could actually give antibodies that could, save people from illness, right? Mm-hmm. So now that's where it shows us that government agencies don't want things like that. They're trying to kill us, remember? So they're not trying to save us. So it's showing even normie people that you can't trust these agencies and you can't trust the RCMP. So when you see it from that angle, it's pretty obvious it's a big psyop.
So again, and not to belabor the point, and please bear with me, is it you've admitted on the show before that you've had your interpretation of the cards wrong before on other subject matter. And you've explained this many times that, hey, sometimes I'm just not there, or universe somehow just doesn't want to let us know until a certain point, and then suddenly it changes the tune. We've seen this happen time and time. Is it possible that is in part what's happening now? Do you give it a small percentage, a medium percentage, or 0% at this point? Before we pull the cards again here, I just want to see where you're at in your head.
I think I should have delved into it deeper on the quick pick.
Okay.
But no indication was given from the cards that there would be death. Usually you'll see the death card, in which case I would have said exactly what did happen, which is they're going to fake this cull.
Right.
Okay. So maybe I could have asked the question differently or asked a secondary question. So going into it with more depth, but I mean, we're talking about a live show that's just a few minutes. We only have a few minutes for each of those. That's a quick pick, and it's called that on purpose. I really think the cards were saying what really was going to happen. I think the birds were flown out of there.
Right.
They were.
And now, my first reaction when I saw this, or the last court challenge that was struck, was like, yeah, but okay, but there's already a few people from the States who said they would pay for them to be relocated. So if indeed the problem from Canada was a health concern, if the United States wanted to import a health concern and they were okay with it, then so be it. I didn't see why they had to go forward with the culling. So again, there's so many things that if you dig, don't make sense with the story. But nevertheless, we're being asked again here to look at this. Some more in curiosity, like to try to understand better the situation. Some with a little bit of anger. So let's just say that. Now, Joni B in the chat is saying, are the attacks coming from the IAP? Well, first of all, they're not attacks, Joni B. I'm reading them. Janine is reading them as people who are having a deep emotional connection and bond and reaction to this story. I don't think for a minute that it's an attack, but they want answers and they feel they've been wrong, or they feel horrible about the situation. And they think maybe they're externalizing a little bit of that anger around them. And to that extent, I do understand how that can happen. Again, with all these psyops happening, we're all human, and at some point we just get very fucking frustrated. I totally get that. So Joni B, I don't see it as an attack, but it came from everywhere, from pay-per-view, IP, email, comments on the videos. Again, it's a very emotionally charged story. How do I start this? So you and I decided that we were going to do this tonight. Coco is going to make this as a smaller segment and put it on Rumble, also free for the public to see, not just here on pay-per-view, given that there's so much still questions around this.
Yeah.
So how do you feel right now? What would you like to answer? If you had your question answered right now, how would you ask that first pull right now on this whole story? I have a list of questions I can ask you, different angles here to try to appease the audience members and get to something here that makes sense. And if the cards are telling us, holy shit, we got this wrong for the last 6 months, then that's the answer too. I'm just saying we're doing this live now, and we're going to see our best to get some answers for you guys. Janine, what would you say?
Let's ask the ostriches we've been seeing photographed and or filmed. What's happening with them now? Are they alive? Are they dead? What's happening? And if they're dead, we'll see the moon, we'll see surrender, we'll see the tower and the moon somewhere. Like there's certain cards, and you guys have been watching me long enough. I trust the ones that'll come up. If they're dead, I think it'll be really obvious. If they're literally dead, okay. And then if we see the 6 of Swords, they were taken to safety. If we see like the World card, there's protection around them. Like, yeah, we'll know, right? I think we'll maybe start with what's the health of these birds we've been seeing, the ones we've been seeing in the photographs and the films, the footage.
Okay, let's start there. Some people saying, why are we pissing off the cards by asking even more questions to the cards? You don't want to have that. I know, I get your point.
I know.
But again, Janine and I, at this point, looking at the comment, we cannot not go back and revisit this. Yeah. And one of my questions is too, not necessarily that you were wrong or that maybe misinterpreted the cards, but could it be that you and I were side-opped in some way, and that we were getting this wrong because we're being side-opped too? Like, that's going to be a second question on all of this. Yep. But there's a lot of angles we want to look at this, and we're just as curious as you are to get to the point of it. And again, we could do a whole hour show on everything that's wrong with the culling process itself, and you guys can be the judge. But that's not the point at this point here. We're just trying to get a beat on all of this. And also, I'll let you read that as is, and then I have a supplemental on or a different angle on your question. Go ahead.
Okay, so when you ask a question like this is the birds, and this is how they're doing. Okay, notice the cards. They're bright and sunny. Yep. Really positive card here. It's a very political thing, so they might even be owned and or under protection of some political group. We've got the Ace of Wands in the past, so there was a lot of red hot attention to these birds. Yeah, there was. But look at this, the 3 of Wands, so on to new territory. So they could even be on their way or en route to a whole new home. So that's interesting, right?
And that card is never used as, I'm off to the afterlife, I've left the 3D, and I'm off to look at another adventure in a different physicality, in a different dimension. That's not that.
No, I think the World card could be that in a placement here.
Okay.
The World might be that because it's such a large gateway, but this is a minor arcana. So it's more minor than, it's not as big as I'm off to a whole new life adventure. Yeah. So we're not getting that. And also, if you were looking at this for their health, for instance, so this is their archetypal card, there's a balance here. So this isn't a bunch of scared, freaked out birds that were culled and or are freaking, like somehow there's calm and balance. So they're being treated well from my cards. Okay, so and I'm just reading the cards. So remember, when we look at these things, I mean, we were also looking at the George Floyd situation, and I was saying similar things, and that was really pissing people off. And there's been so many, I can't even like the whole time I was looking at the Royals, people were like so mad at me. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, and look at this here. I think they're in a new, like this card's a new territory. Like there's newness around these two cards and this card here. So I feel like they've been moved somewhere new. They could even be in new territory like that they've never been. So in other words, a new country. Certainly they're not anywhere near that farm. Okay. Yep. And here we've got the Knight of Wands. So this is a great card, and unless it's badly aspected here, it looks really good. It's really well aspected. These guys are looked after. They're being looked after, and things have been a little chaotic for them, but it's like really settled down a lot. Like this card's like really well looked after. I don't see any dead birds here. I'm just not getting
There's no death card. There's no tower card. There's no
moon.
Moon. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you anyways here. Is it possible that the reason this was difficult and the cards maybe did not pick it up is because we were asking a very black and white question in the last couple of months? Is it possible that some of them might have been called and some of them might have been flown out? Would you see that in the cards there as a possibility? Do you want to do clarifiers?
Okay, yeah, let's do clarifier. So how would we ask that? The entirety of the flock, is this the entirety, or are we missing some?
Okay.
4 and the page. Okay, some of them could have been held back. Okay, it doesn't look dead, but held back maybe.
Yeah.
Sold maybe, or possibly this could be like looking after young ones. I wonder if they were parenting, so they couldn't, because this card can be about young infant offspring.
Or maybe there were some in particular in this herd that either a government agency, research agency was absolutely interested in for the research in the antibody stuff. And those are the ones that are being held back, not killed or culled, but maybe held back. And this would be the story here for the public at large. Say, oh no, they're all gone. Stop talking about this. The story's over, but maybe there's more to that. What do you see there?
Yeah. Yeah. So the 2 of Pentacles and the 8. Okay. Some of them I feel like they're going to be held up. This card's held up because of either physically a condition they're in or physically something they're dealing with. So maybe they weren't well enough either, right? Or they're physically a condition they have that they need to wait to join the others. And but if I was
there in those 2 clarifiers, still, you're not getting a death card.
No, there's no death.
There's maybe some holdbacks or contingencies to the whole lot, but again, there's no death card there.
No.
Grounded hippie, she says, a good question for Janine is how to manage ourselves around the normies until if we get full truth exposed about the psyop. Yeah, isn't that?
It'll be hard.
I'm getting more and more conversations with my close friends who are getting in the process of, holy shit, people are lying to us. Holy shit, the BBC actually edited Trump's video. I never thought the BBC would do that, JC. I'm like, wow, okay, congratulations. You just made it, but please, stop breaking my balls on the stuff that hasn't occurred yet, because just with today, Trump was offering the pardons to Giuliani and all those guys. The mainstream news is making it look like Trump is pardoning Giuliani for overthrowing an election result. No. That's not what Giuliani was trying to do. He was trying to get at election integrity. That's why he was pushed out. That's why you and I were deleted off YouTube. So let's call it like it is. But something's happening, and the normies are picking up. So yes, grounded hippie, that is the question. How do we do that right now? As frustrating as it may be, it might be just to take a beat and breathe a little bit and lean into it too when we have to revisit and take some time to try to explain this at large. Okay. Are the owners of the farm in on this?
Good one. I was gonna ask that one too.
At this point, I can't see how they would not be. Like, given again, I can give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know them. I never met them. They're perhaps very, 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 nice and very simple-minded people. And this whole conspiracy stuff, it's just above their heads. And maybe they just got played and they don't know. But so many things are odd about this story that would suggest that. Let's look at the card, Janine. And Janine, don't leave your card there in card view. So they see you flip. I don't want to be accused of, she took the cards off the deck, GC, and she, Just looking out for you, Janine.
Okay. Surrender. Okay, this is interesting. I got to be honest, I don't think they were right until recently or just recently.
When push came to shove, they had to get read in somehow here.
They needed the show to look real. So I feel like surrender to, so right up until the end, maybe just before the shooting, because supposedly shooting them at night in the middle of the night, as if anyway, because they, that was when they stopped even being as believable. Or go watch some of the footage, just watch it with new eyes, and don't get involved in the emotional part and see what happens to your eyes.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, wait,
Yeah.
they don't look the same as something switched. So I feel like no, they weren't read in at the beginning, and they had to be told right at the end. So they left it right till the end to let these guys in on it. Seems a little cruel, if you want my opinion, but
absolutely.
I mean, hey,
and
war, right?
Like the blow by blow that we were treated to with the guns firing off and all the rhetoric and the people crying, all that. I mean, are you fucking serious? Like, why not just syringe them if you were going to euthanize them? Why do you have to shoot? And as soon as you shoot one bird, what do you think is happening in the pen to all the other birds? It's fucking mayhem. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Somebody in the chat says, JC, mine's too much what people think of Beyond Mystic. No, I mind what people think of Janine's integrity. That's what we're talking about here. So let's be clear. If I'm not happy about that, don't watch the show. Like, I need to spend the time to answer this. I'm trying to get to it. And I know that Janine's not in a good place reading some of those emails. I know Janine now, and I've been helping her pull cards on different stories for a number of years. And I know she has the absolute integrity when she pulls cards, and she does her very best to answer as best possible in every scenario to help you guys decipher this world. So when I see the opposite of that, it kind of does piss me off. Yes, you're absolutely right. Beyond Mystic, it's not that. It's not what we're talking about here tonight. We're talking about Janine, the way she pulls her cards, and whether or not she's being authentic, or if she was deliberately, as I saw in some emails, trying to bring people over the edge, or deliberately trying to deceive people. No, I'm sorry, I have to address that. So Arctos 99, that's my answer. Okay. Janine, where are they? Are they in the States? Are they in a different place here in Canada altogether? Again, if people were so interested in the studies and the antibodies and the whatever scientific advancement that could be made by these birds, where are they? Are they still in Canada somewhere under the radar? Are they in the States? In another country altogether?
That feels like the Loosh Gatherer. So that's an unnecessary stressed out card. There's quite a few entities in on it with whatever's going on. They might have even been moved out. I wonder if the last bit of footage was completely false. Like they could have been moved out the night before the supposed shooting or something. Yeah, because it feels like they'd already been moved. They're on a big property with other birds like them. So they've joined a larger community, still not getting at where exactly. Now this card, if it's talking about the where, it's somewhere close or we're in close. It's almost like, I think it's the US. I think it's the US because it's, we deal a lot with them. Maybe Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It was like some entity that was read in on this story. So it could be like, yeah, I think it's the US, if I was to guess here. We've got the Queen of Swords. And weirdly, what popped in my head, and I have no idea if this is the weather for it or whatever, I'm getting Texas. But I mean, I don't know why I said that. So I'll just say it, but I got Texas. Okay, so radically different. The weather and everything radically different, and that could end up being a bit of a problem for them. Like the Judgment card, they could have some issues with how different it is from what they're used to. So if they're used to Canada, British Columbia, and now they're in Texas or somewhere, wherever it is, it's quite a shock. and they'll probably have to get acclimatized to it.
Okay. Okay. Are you ready to let this rest, Janine, or is there anything else you want to look at?
No, I was really interested in, are the people in on it, but that was an interesting read on there. But yeah, no, I'm good.
Where they are, where they were taken to, if there was any stragglers, I think that was important. We would have captured if maybe perhaps some of them had been called. None of that, again, coming into the cards. And again, the consistency with this story for the last 6 months, it's always the same answer.
Yeah.
And to me, that's indicative too. Like it's the same thing with XRP. How much shit did you get on XRP during the lawsuit? It's going to come out of troubled waters. You kept pulling the same damn card every month when people asked you.
If you want to see more, please consider supporting our show by purchasing